like, yeah, how was your life when you were older, like in the 50s? Like, what would you do?
How was your life different once you got older? I mean, you had a job, you went to college.
Yeah.
What did you do for fun?
It was just different. You had a job, you had to go to work.
Right. So
you had to be responsible. And so then you became a little more independent. You had money, you could buy some clothes.
Okay.
You know, you could, whenever we went, I bought a car, a used car. And then of course I became involved with the UCYL.
Okay. That was the Ukrainian
Catholic Youth League.
Okay.
And then that particular one year that we became involved, I think I was the financial secretary. We got to be the national board.
Okay.
And so by becoming the national board, I was the financial secretary, and so I got to travel. We were like the board for the eastern part of the United States. So I got to travel a little bit. It was, meeting, you met your people, your background, your ethnic background, the Ukrainians, and we just had, we had monthly meetings, and it was just so nice, and you got a chance to meet a lot of, people, men,
Is that where you met Grandpa?
No, we met while I was working. I was still Grandpa he was very tolerant. He'd let me run around. While he stayed back, he let me run around a little. I was still.
I figured
I remember I got engaged, and this one guy, he was kind of interested in me, and he didn't notice that I had a ring on. And you know what? If I had met him before I was engaged to Grandpa, I would have been interested in him. He was really nice. And then when I went to the bathroom, someone told him that she's engaged. And that was the end of it.
Okay. Well, at least he was honorable enough to back off.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But Dad, you didn't do much of anything, did you? You didn't do much socializing in the 50s, did you? Did you go with Gustafson sometime somewhere? Or you got involved in that Elliott baseball, remember? You were the referee or something?
Oh, that was just one game.
Oh, just one game? I thought it was one season you were there.
I don't think so.
I think you were there more than one.
I won't argue because...
Oh, then you got involved, remember that guy asked you to help with Scouts?
Yes, Harold
Boy Scouts?
Yeah, he did show them something about making a motor.
Oh, okay.
And
really?
Dad didn't do much socializing.
Okay. Not surprised. He was an engineer.
Yeah.
Engineers are kind of quiet, and they don't...
Yeah.
They're not people, right?
What? You're not a person?
No, I mean, you're not like an extrovert. Most engineers are really very...
I plead guilty as charged.
Yeah, right.
I'm an extrovert, I can't help it.
Well, no, Dad, that's just your personality. I mean, that's just how you were born. That's how, people are born, introverts or extroverts. So
I don't know, it's a matter of being born that way. It's
well, your tendency,
your environment, I think, shapes you more than your birth in that case.
Well,
yeah, I think so. You know how nurturing and nature.
Well, there's nature versus nurture.
Yes.
So yeah. Okay.
So Dad didn't do as far as your work.
So okay, so Dad, when you were done at work each night, did you just go home and read?
No, he went to.
No, I didn't just go home and read. Once I started going with her, I naturally went over to her house. And
no, we only dated about like once a week. We didn't date during the week.
So what did you do during the week?
Like maybe he would go to this Olympia's for supper, remember?
Restaurant?
It's a Greek restaurant,
well,
remember?
but didn't I afterwards go over to see you?
No, you never did.
Mercy. Well,
No,
all right. If you say so, I can't say that I remember all that well.
So then, wait, did you live in an apartment, Dad?
Mrs. Apple.
Oh, Mrs. Apple. And then you would just go back and read.
Before he met me and before we started, he would take long walks.
Oh, rambles.
Like how many miles would you go to Crabtree?
I don't know if I ever walked to
I
Crabtree.
thought you told me you went by the coke mines, you know, near Crabtree. You know, the old coke mines?
Well, coke ovens.
Ovens.
Really, not mines.
Yeah, the ovens near Crabtree.
You may be right.
How far was that? Crabtree out of Greensburg? 10 miles?
Not one way. It may have been 5 miles one way, I don't know.
Well, that would have been a hike. 5 miles one way and then back. Well, you walked. Okay. Cool. All right.
He didn't do much of.
One day I walked, actually it was the day and part of the night. I must have walked, I don't know, somewhere between 35 or 40 miles.
Holy cow, Dad.
I only did that once.
You learned your lesson then.
Yeah,
35 or 40 miles, I guess you could have.
I think so. It wasn't Crabtree I walked down to. It was near Connellsville somewhere, in where the coke ovens were.
I thought the coke ovens were around Crabtree. There were some along the road.
There may have been. I can't remember. I don't recall coke ovens in connection with Crabtree, to be truthful.
Well, I can kind of remember them, but maybe
You lived in the area longer than I did.
They must have been there because can't even remember ever going to Connellsville. But I can remember those coke ovens either somewhere along the tracks or somewhere. Would they have been along near railroad tracks?
Oh, yes, oh, yes.
So I can
And after
remember
all, the coke, the raw coal was shoveled into furnaces and
right along I can remember that.
heated, and then and only then, when the heating was finished, was it coke.
Now, the question was, how did our lives change during the 50s?
Yeah, like how are they different from when you were kids?
Well, she told you.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
just, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
it's just different.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's totally different.
All right,
I
so
mean, you
If
just
I
like,
haven't answered your questions
Yeah.
properly, yell at me, okay?
but you know what, you start,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
start, you know, but years then, nobody left home. Everybody
Okay.
lived at home until they were married. You never
Okay.
went out and got an apartment. You know, you got married, you left your parents' home when you got married. You stayed, it was just an accepted thing, there was nothing there, you know, no reason not to, but nobody ever did it. Everybody stayed at home.
Okay.
You know, the guys did, and so, you know, you didn't accept the responsibility of paying rent or something like that. You had a car then, and, you know, you became a little more independent. You just became a little grown up. You had a job and you had to perform, or you didn't have a job.
all right.
All right.
What's next?
So before you guys got married, did you go like to any places outside your hometown?
Oh,
Like I know you mentioned you traveled with your Ukrainian group, right?
Did we go outside our hometown?
After we got married?
No.
Before.
Well, Mom would have traveled, or Grandma would have traveled.
I did, but
Yeah.
it was right in the same area where all the, you know, the Pittsburgh area.
Yeah, so. it
But
would've
then
been-
as a financial secretary, but once a year we would have a sports rally, which was outside the area. It was somewhere on the eastern coast, northeastern coast. And then we had our big convention. And boy, that was something. And, you know, the big convention drew everybody from all the states, you know, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland,
New Jersey.
New York, New Jersey, Connecticut,
Okay, so
all of
east
the,
and
so
down
you
the
met
seaboard.
everybody. And so I'll tell you know, they had the meeting, then they had, you know, the big dance where everybody got And it was really very nice. And we had mass, you know, the priests were there too.
Yeah.
It was a very good organization to belong to. Gave me a chance to meet a lot of people.
And so what was the official name of it?
What?
What was the official name of it?
The Ukrainian Catholic Youth League.
Okay.
UCYL.
And then they changed it to something else. Not CYO, Catholic Youth Organization. That's
League of Ukrainian Catholics?
Youth League. The UCYL that I belong to.
League of Ukrainian
League of
Catholics.
Ukrainian Catholics, that's right.
Yep. So, okay.
That's what it became.
Okay.
And I think they're still going. I think they're still active.
So what's next?
Alright, and so this one's more directed towards grandma. But, so you would go into Pittsburgh a lot, right?
Oh, yeah.
On the weekends?
Pittsburgh area.
Area.
Generally, there was north side, south side, Aliquippa, Carnegie, Ambridge. That's it. North side, south side, Aliquippa, Ambridge, Carnegie, and McKeesport, and Wilmerding. There were 7 like areas, and I can't think of any
So,
more.
were you talking about going into downtown Pittsburgh?
Well, I just wanted to know, like, what would you do there? Like,
What would you do?
in
when
your
you went
trips
to
to
Pittsburgh?
Pittsburgh?
Did you shop?
Oh,
Did you
walk around.
sightsee?
Oh, when we went in, you mean aside from the UCYL?
Yeah.
yeah.
And Helen and I would go in. You know, we two were sisters that close. And we would every so often go, like you would go to Lancaster.
Yeah.
We would go into Pittsburgh. And right up the street, we would catch a bus and go into Pittsburgh. We'd get up very early in the morning. And then we would stay there all day and we would shop, walk around the street. I guess we ate lunch there or
Right,
had
right,
something to
yeah.
eat, then we would catch a bus home. And Helen and I slept together in a bed. And the one time we were getting up, we had to get up very early in the morning. And we set an alarm clock. And then Helen got up and she pulled my nose to turn off the alarm clock. She's twisting my nose. I remember that. And I didn't know what was going on. She either was pressing her finger on my nose or twisting it. I can't remember. I had to remember to tell you that. Then another time, I don't know if she was imagining it or not, she told me a spider walked across her face. This wasn't, going to Pittsburgh. But I remember that, what she did to me.
Oh, that's good.
Well, even she was half asleep,
Right, oh, yeah,
half
sure,
asleep. We'd get up probably about 6 or 6:30.
Yeah,
To
okay.
go to, it took an hour to drive, to ride into Pittsburgh.
Yeah, good.
But Dad didn't, he walked, he did not have, Dad did not, Grandpa did not even know how to drive. And when he started the Elliott Company in 56 or 57? About 56.
Something like that.
A good friend of his there, and actually, that friend took him out and taught him to drive, and Dad bought a used car, and he took him to get a license. And that friend, Tom
I was gonna say,
Gustafson,
was that Mr. Gustafson?
married a classmate of mine who worked at the